Good morning, Rabbi Isai. We're holding on Daf Amud Beis, like 10 lines from the bottom. 11 lines. Iboilu. Haylacha shaloi beregel shma halacha. Haylacha shma halacha. This is the topic today. What's haylacha shaloi beregel? Walking without your feet, moving without your feet. So this thing right over here, they're right by the mizbeach. The noise maybe, good done. You see that movement of his arm? That movement, that's haylacha. The spilling of the blood on the mizbeach, that's zrika. But this movement might be haylacha, moving the blood towards the mizbeach. Is that considered haylacha or not? What's the nafkamina? Nafkamina, if you're a Yisrael and you do it, do you make it puzzle? Nafkamina, could you think a thought of shaloi l'shma during this movement of your arm? Haylacha shaloi b'regel shma halacha, haylacha shma halacha. Tashma. V'chein yoshev, v'chein small puzzle. So a lot of these things, as classic here in this Masechta, we're going to see again. We had before, we'll see again. A person who sits on the floor in the Beis Hamikdash to avoid this puzzle. V'chein small, if you use your left hand, puzzle. So the Gemara is inferring, is medayik ha'oimed dumi the yoshev kasher. It says sitting, and what if you're standing still and you move your hand? That's haylacha shaloi beregel, and it seems like oimed dumi the yoshev kasher. Haylacha shaloi beregel would be kasher. Says the Gemara, dilma yoshev the kashayif meishaf. Maybe he's scuttling around on the floor. If there's such a word, I don't know what the word. Scooting around, shuffling. Here we go. Maybe he's moving a little bit on his. So, and therefore, if you're going to compare it to standing, so also he kind of scuttled. What do you call the word? Shuffle. He shuffled while he's standing. You want to say that there's a difference between sitting and standing here. Sitting, he shuffled. Standing, he also shuffled. But standing would be kosher if you shuffle. I don't have a real raya. Tashma. Shachad Yisrael v'kibul HaKohen. We're going to have this case a number of times. Yisrael shechted the animal, and a Kohen accepted the blood. Nisane l'chaveroi, v'chaver l'chaveroi. Right in Masechtas Pesachim, that's how they actually did it on Pesach, Erev Pesach. There's so many people there, so they had what do you call it in English? A line, a conveyor line, a chain, like they do with the in a fire, a bucket from one person. So these are also buckets. Assembly line. So one gives it to the other. Is anybody moving? No. So what do you see? That you don't have to move. You can do the halach without moving. So the Gemara, remember this Gemara because Rashi is going to ask the question later. Over here, where you see Mefurish in the Gemara, you must say that the whole sugi over there in Pesachim is talking about that each one moved a couple of inches forward, 1 inch here, 1 inch there. So what's the big chiddush over there? If they all moved, so Yishkoyach, they moved, so each one did a halacha, and they're all kohanim. Everything is great. No, tremendous chiddush. B'rov am hadras melech. It's actually preferable to use 100 people versus one person doing the halacha. You want everybody to get involved. Tashma. Kibela kosher v'nosan l'apostle. The kohen accepted the blood, received the blood. He gave it to the Yisrael, or to a kohen that's possible. It says mefurish yachzer l'kosher. From the fact that you have to give it back, so you see that it's not considered a halacha. So the Gemara says no. Eima yachzer kosher v'ikabla. Maybe you have to redo. Maybe it is considered a halacha, and he has to redo what he did. He has to go backwards. Or fakert. Sorry, now it's saying fakert. Yachzer kosher v'ikabla. The Gemara is saying the opposite. Maybe the kohen should just continue from that point on. In other words, the Yisrael did something, he did halacha, and we don't care about that halacha. The kohen should just continue from that point on. That's what it means. Yachzar kosher yikabel. Itmar, Amar Ula, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, halacha shaloi beregel loishim halacha. Moving the hand that we're discussing until now, the same thing. It's not considered walking. It's not considered moving halacha, and therefore you cannot have a bad machshava of pigul. Tezvav Amud Aleph. Now, the Gemara's question is, Efshel takuna, Eloi Efshel takuna. So, l'chayr, we're going to bring that case that we just had now. If a a Yisrael actually moved the blood, can we correct it or not? Is it correctable? Tashma. Kibala kosher v'nosan l'apostle. The Kohen received the blood, he gave it to the Yisrael. Yachzer l'kosher. What do you see from here? You could fix. You could fix it. Uninami the yachzer kosher v'kablenu. And even if you say that you don't have to go backwards, you just continue forward from wherever the Yisrael brought it. But still, it's a great riot that you can fix. You can continue. He didn't ruin it. If you think that you cannot fix, he passed the law. It ruins it. So the Gemara says, it really makes a huge difference where this guy is positioned. Misavres the koi zor gavoy. Do you think that the Yisrael, if you see the kohen is the one in the white, the Yisrael is the one in the other color. If he's closer to the mizbeach, then he ruins it. He made a halacha in the right direction. So the Gemara, no. The problem is not the problem. The reason why it's okay and he doesn't ruin it is because he ruined it. He took it further away from the mizbeach. Says Rabbi Yochanan that if you just the movement of the arm, without the moving without feet, just with your arm, psula, even if a kohen does it, it's possible. Alma lo yevshel tekuna. You see from over here, the lashon apostle seems like you cannot fix it. It's not fixable. Oh, I love this sugya. Nishbach min hakli al ritzba v'asafoy kosher. What's going on here? Think about it. Anytime liquid falls on a flat surface, what happens? It splatters where? In all directions. It can't splatter in one direction. It splatters in all directions. In other words, there's a forward movement of the blood. There's also a backward movement of the blood. Some of the blood is going to move in the direction of the mizbeach. The kohen is facing the mizbeach. The whole bucket of blood falls on the floor. It goes red everywhere. Some of it goes 2 feet forwards towards the mizbeach. That part of the blood that went towards the mizbeach, that went without human intervention. That's problematic. That's like a monkey doing it. That's like a machine doing it. That's like you spilling it on the floor. You not bring it. That's halacha shleibei regel. That's movement towards the mizbeach. Now, you want to take a squeegee and scrape it off the floor, and that's what you do because you gotta do zrika somehow. So you squeegee it off the floor. The problem is it's too late. The blood already moved towards the mizbeach. You want to retract it and fix it? That's the question in the Gemara. Could you fix it? V'asafai, and he gathered it. Kosher. It's okay. In other words, you can fix it. Says Gemara, no, not a good raya. The blood did not splatter in the direction of the mizbeach. It splattered in the opposite direction. Opposite direction we already established is not considered elacha. That's the opposite of elacha. You're moving it away from the mizbeach. Ask the Gemara. How's it possible that if something hits the ground, it goes only in the opposite direction? It should go in both directions. Okay, so here, number one. B'mokim midran. We're talking about it's on a slant. So yeah, it's possible that when the blood hits the floor, it only goes downwards, away from the mizbeach. There's some sort of hole in the floor, so it goes straight down, doesn't go towards the mizbeach. It's congealed. As the Gemara, what? We have a whole Mishnah discussing these funny cases. It makes no sense. These are cases that never happen. It doesn't make sense that the Mishnah will be talking about such a unique case. And now I have a tremendous kasha over here. Aditani bidach pirkin. In the next paragraph it says, Nishbach ala ritzpa. Daf chafei. Is it the next paragraph? Probably. Yeah. Nishbach ala ritzpa, same case. Va'asafoi pasul. Now, why do you have to tell me a funny case over there? I have in our case that we're discussing right now. Forget about another guy, the type of guy that did it. Our case, The nafkamina is, you just told me, it's only because it goes away from the mizbeach when it fell. Okay, so the next case is when it was a flat surface and the blood, when it hit the ground, it splattered in all directions. In all directions, now it's possible. Just tell me the same case in two different cases. Why do you have to go to another case to tell me possible? Possible. It's a bam kasha. Itmar. Again, what does it mean? A person, a kohen, moved the blood towards the mizbeach with his hand, not with his feet. Says the Gemara, Rabasi, if you must move a lot, you must walk, it's a far distance to the mizbeach. The psula. If a person thought the machshava of loy lishma, let's say, during that walk, since it's a necessary walk, it's a necessary avodah, you ruined it. Possible. If you use your arm, that is considered a minor movement, a minor that we have a machlokes. And Eretz Yisrael, they laughed at this. Rabbi said, here goes. We're discussing this a lot. We might as well talk about it. Pretend this is the bird that you bring in the Beis Hamikdash. This is not it. It's usually a pigeon. I can't even bring myself to bring a fake pigeon here. Okay? Otherwise, the way it works is, here, let me first show you this. You hold the wings in a certain way with your fingers. I'm not sure this is 100% accurate, but with your long look, he even did a long nail. I like it. Shmak, look at that nail over there. Cool. You give it a little fetch, and the bird goes to sleep forever. Now, with a bird, you don't take the blood and pour it into a vessel. That's Kabbalah Saddam. You don't do that. What you do is you take the actual bird and you walk over to the mizbeach and you do something called hazah. You toss it violently. You go like this. Boop, and some of the blood sprays out of the bird, hits the mizbeach. Now, says the Gemara, what's going on here? Where exactly is this guy? Now here's what's very super interesting. This is going to get everybody almost. When I go like this, right now, what am I doing? Zrika or Hailacha? The Gemara calls that Hailacha. This is Hailacha, right here. At the last second, when the blood comes out, it's called a Zah. But this would be Hailacha. I'm moving the bird towards the blood, towards the Mizbeach. So says the Gemara, where exactly am I having a machshava of psul? Where am I thinking that this is not a chata sa'if, this is oila sa'if? Where am I thinking this? El chata sa'if, the possible machshava, how is it possible? If the thought happened before the blood exited the body of this bird, loy klumi, that's nothing. You didn't do anything yet. And if it's after the blood left, it's too late. The mitzvah was already done. Says the Gemara, my kushya, you're missing one part. You forgot about one thing. What about in flight? The blood is flying through the air. Now, how far away is this guy? Think about it. Even major league pitchers in baseball, if they were standing 20 feet away, I don't think the blood is going to hit the mizbeach. You're talking about a couple drops of blood. It doesn't have enough velocity or whatever it's called. So, what? Mass. Doesn't have enough mass to fly that far. So, he's pretty close. So he goes like this. He's throwing it, let's say 5 feet away, maxed, and it goes. So as it's in the air, he's thinking to himself a machshava of psul. He's thinking to himself, this is a chatas oila. Chatas oila. I mean not chatas oila. Oila soif. This is not a chatas bird. This is an oila bird. That's the only one in midair. So that my kushya dealing with the parish by the matin mizbeach. This is a raya. That every time I said that all you need to do is 2 seconds of thought to change your machshava to b'chol drochecha do'ehu is 2 seconds. Here's the raya, because for the blood to leave the bird and hit the mizbeach is less than 2 seconds. It's not, can't be more. And Mamela, you see a machshava is a moment. That's it. One moment changes everything. The Rabbi Rabbi Yirmi asked Rabbi Zera, one of these crazy questions. He's in the middle of doing hazah, and his arm pops out and falls down to the ground like a Lego man. Okay, so this guy's a Baal Mum. He doesn't have an arm. No arm equals Mum. So, this guy threw the blood, asked for Yirmiyah, since the blood didn't hit the Mizbeach yet, and he just became a Balmum. How? Because a monkey on the ceiling threw down a block of I don't know what, and it chopped his arm off, whatever the case is, and the blood didn't hit the Mizbeach yet, it's midair, is it considered as if a Balmum threw the blood? Yes, when he threw it, when it left the bird, he was not a Balmum, but in the ear, he is a Balmum. Is that considered a Mum? Lu Yitzir, he wants to know Lu Yitzir. Hayamaza. They threw him out of the Beis Medrash. Later on, they brought him back in. They said, oh, he knows. Actually, Mal. Vamarle Psula. It's not, he's considered Balmum. My timer, Vihiza v'nosan be'inon. There's two psukim. One says Vihiza that he should throw the blood. V'nosan that should reach the mizbeach. And Memela, it's considered a Balmum. Kiyasar Papa Rav Huna Bereder Rav Shimon Rav. They came from the yeshiva of Rav. I'll tell you what the funny thing was. There was a machlokes with the distant walking. The machlokes was when you have to walk a long way and you had a machshava there, since it's necessary to walk. That's where the machlokes is. Rabbi, see what's happening? A Yisrael moved the blood, and then a kohen took it back to the mizbeach, and then so we're good, we're already good, and then v'chazer lichai. Can a kohen correct what happened? A zar moved it away. The kohen comes and puts it back into place. So you have machlokes, the sons of Rebbe Chia and Rebbe Yana. Chadom HaKosher v'chadom HaPasel. What's the machlokes? Ma'asav efshel takuno. That we go by the last movement. The last movement is a good one. I don't care what happened in the beginning. Somebody moved it away from it. The kohen fixes it. Efshel takuno. Ma'asav efshel takuno. And the other man says no. Once it's moved away from the mizbeach, it's finished. Right? V'chzirei kohen backwards. Now, here's the thing. Fine, he moved it away from the mizbeach. Just an interesting Rashi here. Can you fix shchita? If somebody messes up on shchita, can you fix it? No. Impossible. Can you fix Kabbalah? Kabbalah Saddam.
Yes, it's more blood.
Oh, if there's more blood, yes. Very good. Now, the reverse question. So the kohen brought it to the mizbeach. The zar takes it away from the mizbeach. Now what? Omer Rav Shimon Barashi, the one that says that we go by the last walking. So in the previous case, that's kosher. The kohen fixes it. Over here, since the zar moves it away, we go by the last one as possible. The kohen brought it to the mizbeach and took it away. And then the Yisrael brought it right back. Yeah, 100%. The Yisrael brought it right back to the Mizbeach, so now it's in the right place, but it was there in the right place. One halacha was not necessary at all. To move it away was not necessary. And then he brought it back. The question is, could a guy ruin it in the middle, or we go by the last halacha and it's in the right place now? So l'divrei machshir, when we go by the last one, it's possible. L'divrei paisel, but if you go by the first halacha, machshir, this will be okay because the kohen brought it initially, it was good. Rav Amar after divrei paisel pasel. Even if you go by the first halacha, it's still, and the kohen did the first halacha. In this case, it's pasel. Why? My taima do tzorich lam tuyei. It means you have to bring it. You have to bring it back. So since you have to bring it back, it's considered a halacha. Amar le Rav Yirmiyah le Rav Ashi, Yacham Rav Yirmiyah difta. Since you have to bring it back, it's necessary to bring it back to the mizbech in order to do this rika. We still have machlokes. It's not Rebbe Eliezer oimer. If you must walk in the Beis Hamikdash to get to the mizbech, that's considered a halacha where you can pass it with your machshava. In a place where you don't have to walk, then the machshava doesn't ruin. If you accepted the blood far away from the mizbeach, b'chutz means far away from the mizbeach, and you brought it close to the mizbeach, that's considered a halacha that you must do. Why? Because it's far away from the mizbeach. But if you receive the blood close to the mizbeach, and you moved it far away from the mizbeach, that's a walking unnecessary walk, similar to that story that I said about the guy going to shul in the wrong way. He gets chazarah not. He brought it to the mizbeach and he moved it away from the mizbeach. But you need to bring it back. Well, Mar Savar says, since you never needed to move it away from the mizbeach, it was already at the mizbeach. So what was the point of moving it away from the mizbeach? Since it's not necessary to move it away, so therefore it's not considered that you're doing something important when you bring it back. Eisvei, Abaya. If you're walking something that's necessary so that you could have the wrong machshava during that walk, if you received it away from the mizbeach, you brought it close to the mizbeach, but you received it close to the mizbeach, so the Gemara is medayik. But what if you brought it, you repeated, you fixed it, you came, you brought it next to the mizbeach? It's only something that moves it away from the mizbeach is not possible. But anything that you move towards the mizbeach is possible. Amalei Tanya. In other words, Rashi says, Rebbe Lezer will agree to the Tanakama that you could pass with the wrong machshava during this. He's arguing his own father. That what? His father, Reb Shimon, says you cannot pass while you're walking. Halacha is not one of those avodas that are necessary. He says yes, if it's far away and you have to get to the mizbeach, it is necessary. Hadran aloch kol Zevachim, Hadran aloch kol Zevachim, Hadran aloch kol Zevachim.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.